How we doing, everybody, and welcome back to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. Yesterday we were off. It was a crazy kind of day yesterday. They had the systems were updating. I had a surprise trip to Arcadia, Wisconsin, so I didn't really have a choice there. We weren't able to hop on, but we're back today. Austin is with me today. Austin, how are we doing on this fantastic Thursday?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Trage. Like you said, pretty hectic, but honestly, I didn't do a whole lot yesterday like you were doing. A lot of resting. I needed to catch up on some sleep, so that's what I did yesterday, and it was good. It was very good, actually.
This poor guy. He's had such a rough weekend. We heard about his Christmas. He didn't have to leave the house. He sat on the couch all day and watched football, and yet he's telling us he needed the rest. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't feel like Christmas, that's for sure. It doesn't feel like we just went through Christmas. We've had rain the past couple of days. It's been raining on and off. It's wet out there. And it just doesn't feel, it feels like April 1st. It doesn't feel like it's almost January right now. It's just baffling to me, this non-white Christmas deal. Even a little bit of snow. We haven't even seen a little bit.
There was some snow out there today, actually, back home here. We had some snow on the roads, a little icy, actually. I was driving around, skirting a little bit around the corner.
Skirting a little bit. You know winter is there when you're skirting a little bit around them corners.
And doing a little Tokyo drift, well, we're good. We're good. I think they cleared the snow off, though, or it all melted. No more snow, though.
Good chance it all melted the way that it's been going right now. But with that, we got a lot to talk about today. We have the Bucks Nets recap from last night. We got the bowl games coming up today and a recap of yesterday's action. We got a little NFL talk around there, MLB. We got to get into the Packers a little bit and our fantasy football picks of the week. So with that, right away, I want to jump into the Bucks. The Bucks got the win last night against the Nets, 144 to 122. The Nets played close with them right away. This was an even matchup to start. The Bucks pulled away towards the end. They outscored the Nets in that second half there. It looked like 14 points they outscored them there in that fourth quarter, let alone to really pull away from the Nets. The Nets played close with the Bucks in this one. So I'm going to jump over to Austin. Austin, what do we see with the stats last night from the Bucks and Nets?
Yeah, looking at the stats here for the Bucks, when you look at Giannis, I don't think he's ever going to slow down anytime soon. He had 32 points, 10 rebounds, double-double for him. But then the next person that scored the most, Chris Middleton, actually. Chris Middleton had more minutes than Giannis also. He had 27 points and 10 assists, 3 rebounds, a double-double for him as well. Then Beasley had 17 points for him. Damian Lillard, kind of a quiet night. He only had 12 points, but that's still pretty good. I'll take 12 points out of anyone in our starting lineup. And then Brook Lopez only had 2. Only shot one time, 0 for 6 from the three-point line. So you don't like seeing that from Brook Lopez, especially Splash Mountain, going 0 for 6 from the three-pointer area there. But only 2 points for him. Portis added 14 off the bench, still continuing to do good off the bench. And in the running, I think he's going to be in the running for Sixth Man of the Year. And there's a good chance that he could possibly win it depending on how good this Bucks team does for Bobby there. And then Beauchamp had 11 points. Cameron Payne, though, don't know how this happened, but Cameron Payne had 18 points off the bench. Now, that could have been maybe in that fourth quarter there. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll take it. I'll take Cameron Payne getting 18 points off the bench. It seemed like everyone scored except for 2 people. Jackson Jr. didn't score, and Thanasis. Thanasis didn't score. But besides that, everyone scored for the Bucks. So that's kind of huge. Robin Lopez had 3 points, so he scored more points than his brother and only played 1 minute. Don't know if that's concerning for Brook or not, but I guess I'll take it. And then looking at the Brooklyn Nets here, Brooklyn, for putting up 122 points, if you play defense, you probably could beat the Bucks, but the Bucks were firing on all cylinders. But they were led by Smith Jr. with 14 points, and then Sharp had 12. Thomas had 8. Bridges had 6, and then O'Neal had 3. They were led by their bench, mainly. Their bench kind of carried them through this game. Wilson had 21 points off the bench. Clowney had 14. Brooks had 12, and then Johnson had 12 for them. and Watford had 17. So, I mean, their whole bench played also, and everyone on their team scored. But their bench kind of carried. They had a lot of bench points compared to us, and they also shot more or they made more free throws than us too. So, I mean, if this was a closer game, that could have played a factor a lot more. But luckily, our shooting was way better. I mean, we went 23 for 51 on 3-point. We shot 51 3-pointers and made 23 of them. They only shot, well, they not only, but they shot 32 3-pointers and made 7 of them. So right there's where you make up so much ground on a team. And we kind of just dominated. We kind of dominated this whole game. They did out-rebound us. I'll give them that. I mean, they had 47 rebounds compared to our 41. But we had 41 assists compared to their 29. So we definitely passed the ball, passed the rock a lot more, and got a lot more people involved. So overall, this was a very good team win on the road too. On the road. So you love to see that out of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, and I think a big thing to look at was that the Nets, the starters didn't play. I mean, we look at this one, 10 minutes out of O'Neal, like you were talking there, the minutes were really down for the starters, and that was their plan going into it. They played a longer game. I think they've been on a tough schedule, so they were giving some of the starters, they weren't giving them the night off, but they were giving them the night off. They didn't play a lot of minutes. You look at Cam Thomas, only 12 minutes. Michael Bridges, only 12 minutes. I mean, the starters didn't play for this Nets team, and that kind of helped out the Bucks in that aspect, not even having to face the starters. The Nets did have very good bench play in this one, though. Wilson looked great for this Nets team. Some of the rookies looked great for the Nets in this one. The alarming thing, like you said, not that the Bucks got out-rebounded by 6. The fact that there was 17 offensive rebounds for the Brooklyn Nets with their bench. I mean, their bench is collecting offensive rebounds. Wilson is a guard, and he's going in there and getting 7 offensive rebounds last night. That's just hustle. That's just out-hustling the Bucks. So it comes down to those things, too, where it's like, we got to hustle a little bit more. You know, is that what the Bucks are lacking? Is that hustle? They kind of just expect things to come to them, because you look at, like you were talking there with Brook Lopez last night. I mean, 2 points in total, and he only had 6 rebounds. 2 points and 6 rebounds for your big man. And then you look at everybody else on this team. You had 3 rebounds by Damian Lillard in this ball game, 10 by Giannis, and 3 by Middleton. But your big man's only got 6. And that kind of is alarming to me, that Brook Lopez was kind of a non-factor in the whole entirety of this game last night. That's where I kind of look at it. The bench play for the Bucks, though, this is what we've been waiting for. Cameron Payne with 18, Marjan Beachcamp added 11, and then Bobby Portis with 14. We needed that extra guy to step up. Somebody stepped up. The only thing that worries me is that it's not an every night kind of ordeal. Like you were talking with Cameron Payne there. It's like, holy crap. He scored 18 points. Where'd that come from? That shouldn't be what it is. You know, he's one of if you look at your next 3 guys coming off the bench, Cameron Payne's one of those guys. And he's got to be able to score it for you at times when he's in there for the likes of Damian Lillard, or he's in there for Chris Middleton. He's coming off the bench, or Beasley. He's coming off the bench there. He needs to be able to ring up some points for you. And to have one night where he can score 18, but the next 5, he's going to give me 3 points a night, it's not good enough. You know, that's kind of where you're missing that extra piece right now if you are Milwaukee. But like you said, fantastic team win. You got to win the games that they present. It doesn't matter who's on the court. You still got to win the basketball game, and they did in this one. 144-122 was the final. The Bucks moved to 23-8 on the season. The Nets sit at 15-16 on this young season so far. So Bucks look good. They're going to be coming up. I think they believe they play next tomorrow night. They will square off with
Cleveland.
If I can get her to Cleveland. They got the Cavaliers.
PM.
I believe the Cavs are this last. I know they just. I don't know if they play tonight. I'm not. I don't know if they play tonight, but I know they just came off of a win against the Dallas Mavericks. So this Cavs team is playing pretty good as of late. Yeah, their last game was the Dallas Mavericks. So coming into this one, both teams coming off a couple wins. They just came off a win of the Bulls and Dallas. So it should be a good matchup there with the Bucks and Cleveland coming up there on Friday night. But with that, I want to talk about Pittsville Farm and Home Center in Pittsville. They serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew down there at Pittsville Farm and Home, or check them out on Facebook, Pittsville Farm and Home Center. in Pittsville, Wisconsin. But with that, I want to jump over. We're going to get into the bowl games that we have coming up. Some games yesterday. There were some interesting games yesterday that happened. Get her to load in here for me. You know, there it is. There it is. Now it's loading up on me. So yesterday, we had some pretty good matchups in college football. It's like it works for a second, and then it's like, I want to take a day off too.
I got it up.
Louisville got the win over USC. That was a pretty big matchup there.
USC beat Louisville, Trage.
Oh, never mind. I got her now. It's up now.
There you go.
It was like crappily loading for me. USC got the win over Louisville 42-28. Does not bode well for Florida State now that Louisville just lost like this to USC. Doesn't make Florida State's win against Louisville look any better. So
especially with USC did not have Williams there, Caleb Williams. It was their backup.
I can imagine USC didn't have much for players there. Yeah. I can't imagine that USC had much for their starting offense or anything like that at this game. So USC pulls off a big win against Louisville. Dismantled them all the way around. Oklahoma State got the win over Texas A&M 31-23. Virginia Tech beat the Green Wave, son of a gun, 41-20. And West Virginia beat North Carolina 30-10 in the nightcap. Today, we got some good matchups coming up here. One is already in action as we are recording here. That is Boston College and SMU. Boston College currently leads 10-7. Rutgers, Big Ten team, taking on Miami. That'll be at 1:15. That is the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Then we have some good matchups. So finally, some big ranked matchups coming up here for the nightcap. Number 18, NC State's taking on number 25, Kansas State in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. And then number 14, Arizona, taking on number 12, Oklahoma. So we'll go through. We aren't going to we can pick that one. It's only in the second quarter. Do you think Boston College holds on against SMU, or do you think SMU comes back? I'm going to take Boston College to pull off the upset.
I'm going to pick SMU to come back because I didn't really hear your score. I didn't hear the score either, so I don't know what it is. So I'll just pick SMU.
10-7, 2 minutes left in the second quarter.
Oh, plenty of time for SMU to come back.
Plenty of time. Next up, we have the Bad Boys Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. That's Rutgers and Miami. That's coming from the Bronx. I'm going to give me Rutgers. Give me Rutgers. It's closer to Rutgers, so kind of a home game. Give me Rutgers to win that game.
I was going to go with Rutgers also. And also Miami lost their quarterback to the Badgers, so I don't really know who's playing as quarterback over there, but I like the Rutgers.
Rutgers winning that one. Next up, 4:45 on ESPN, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. What? I wish I would have went to that bowl game. I can just imagine everything they serve you is just Pop-Tarts. So the Pop-Tarts Bowl, we got. That's what I know. That is in Orlando, Florida. Camping World Stadium is the match or this location for that one. Number 18, NC State taking on number 25, Kansas State. Give me the Wolfpack. Give me NC State to win that one over Kansas State.
Yep, I like the Wolfpack also. They played some pretty good games in the regular season. I mean, Kansas State obviously in the Big 12, they're also tested also, but I like the Wolfpack.
Next up, we got this is going to be an interesting matchup, a pretty good matchup. Number 14, Arizona taking on number 12, Oklahoma. That'll be the Valero Alamo Bowl coming from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Give me Oklahoma. I just don't think Arizona's got the defense. But, oh gosh, Oklahoma just lost their quarterback too. Dylan Gabriel's gone too. That's tough. I'm going to switch it. Give me the Wildcats. Give me the Wildcats against Oklahoma.
I was going to go Arizona from my heart, no matter who they were playing, no matter what the quarterback situation was. I was there from the beginning, so I'm going to stick with Arizona Wildcats.
You sound like every Florida State fan right now. It doesn't matter who's that quarterback. It's in the heart that matters for this one. And they played with heart. So we're going to take them.
Yep.
So that is our bowl preview for today. We're going to have a lot of bowl action coming up this weekend. So we'll talk about all about that coming up here. And also, finally talk about the Wisconsin Badgers. We got to talk about the Badgers tomorrow here because we got the Badgers in action again there on New Year's Day, taking on LSU. So we're going to be talking a lot of bowls tomorrow there on the show. But with that, I want to talk about Century 21, home team Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy Sue or Anna to find your dream home, or if you're looking to sell. It's getting that time of year where you might be looking to move to your new dream home. You might be looking to sell your old home, whatever it is. Find them on Facebook at Home Team Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield. But with that, I got to jump over. We haven't had it in a day, so we got to jump over to Austin with our fact of the day.
On this day in 2008, the Detroit Lions crashed to a 31-21 loss to Green Bay at Lambeau Field, and this is the first time in NFL history that a team would go winless in a 16-game season. 0-16, Trage, in 2008.
Interesting fact of the day, and we brought in the Detroit Lions sucking, so that's all that matters. We brought them in. That
only took them 15 years to win the North, but they did it. They did it.
The last time they won it, I'm pretty sure it was still called the Central. I'm pretty sure
that's
it was
probably when we
had
Central. That's when they had Tampa Bay and all them in there, huh?
Barry Sanders was still playing on that football team.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a while back.
It's definitely been a while. It's been a while since we have seen this Lions team have some success. And you know what? Hats off to them. They're playing some pretty good football. They have a young team put together. Campbell's done a great job throwing this together. Jared Goff, we knew he was a good quarterback. We watched him go to the Super Bowl once already. A lot of people forget about that. A lot of people forget that Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl already. He didn't win it, but he was there. And, I mean, it tells you something about a quarterback to lead your team to a Super Bowl matchup. So definitely interesting right there. I just want to jump over to the NFL. It was released, the 2024 Modern Era Players Finalists with their positions by NFL Network for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class. So Eric Allen, defensive back, he played for the Eagles, Saints, and Raiders, is in there. Jared Allen, you remember Jared Allen from the Vikings there?
Oh yeah. I remember how he went out too when he retired with he rode a horse off into the sunset.
Yep. Jared Allen, defensive end. He played for the Chiefs, Vikings, Bears, and Panthers. Was with the Vikings when Brett Favre was there. That's the only reason why I really remember Jared Allen was Brett Favre.
Yeah.
But he is also on the ballot. Willie Anderson, offensive tackle, played for the Bengals and Ravens. Jaire Evans, offensive lineman. He played for the Saints and Packers. 2017, he was with Green Bay. Dwight Freeney, defensive end with the Colts, Chargers, Cardinals, Falcons, Lions, Seahawks. He is also on the ballot. Antonio Gates, tight end, played for his whole career was with the Chargers there, whether it was in San Diego or Los Angeles. He was with the Chargers from 2003 to 2018. Rodney Harrison, defensive back, played for the Chargers and also the Patriots. Devin Hester is on the ballot. Punt returner, kick returner, wide receiver, running back, whatever you want to call him, Devin Hester is on there. Played for the Bears, the Falcons, the Ravens, and Seahawks. Torrey Holt, he is a wide receiver. He played for the Rams and Jaguars. Andre Johnson played for the Texans and Colts, also the Titans. He was in the AFC South. He was an AFC South kind of guy, is what we're getting out of there. Julius Peppers, yeah, still a dog. He was a very good wide receiver, and apparently the Colts watched him and the Titans watched him kick the crap out of him. So they're like, hey, jump ship. Come over here.
We'll take you.
Yeah, come right down the road. We'll keep you over here. Julius Peppers is also on the list. Played for the Panthers from 2002 to 2009. Was also with them from 2017 to 2018. Was with the Bears from 2010 to 2013. And with the Packers from 2014 to 2016. Fred Taylor, running back with the Jaguars and the Patriots. Reggie Wayne, wide receiver for the Colts, was there for 13 years, 2001 to 2014. Patrick Willis is also on there, played for the 49ers linebacker. And Darren Woodson, safety, played for the Cowboys from 1992 to 2003, is also on the list. Any surprises on there that you're seeing, or all these guys are pretty much, I mean, from what I can see, all these guys are very deserving of potentially getting their name inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, all these guys on here are kind of dogs. I ain't gonna lie. I don't really know. I don't know what the number is that it gets cut down to. Probably like 6 or 7, 8 maybe. I don't know. How many guys are 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 15 guys. So you probably cut that at least in half. So probably 6 or 7 guys get in. It's going to be tough for them because a lot of these guys, I mean, it's actually kind of cool now that we're a little bit older that we actually watch some of these guys play when we were younger. So we know how some of these guys are. I don't remember. The only few people I don't remember watching is Darren Woodson, Torrey Holt, and Willie Anderson and Eric Allen, and maybe Fred Taylor. But like, so 5 guys out of 15 that I don't recall watching ever, just because I was either too young or they were on teams that I just don't really care for. So it's actually kind of cool that we were able to see some of these guys that we've actually watched be on a ballot, because like the past how many years has been a bunch of old guys that, or not old guys, but guys before us that we've watched be on the ballot, and we're like, who's this guy? But now we have some of these newer up-and-coming guys like Jared Allen, Julius Peppers. I remember watching him, especially with the Packers, and when they played against the Packers when he was with the Bears. But I don't know who's going to make it. There's a lot of good names on here. It's going to be interesting for the voters to dwindle it down to 7 or 8, or however many numbers it is, however many guys it is.
So what I'm seeing is that the selection committee, this is what it states. The selection committee meets annually shortly before the Super Bowl to elect new members to the Hall of Fame. There's no set number of new enshrinees, but the committee's current ground rules do stipulate that between 4 and 8 new members will be selected each year. So it could be anywhere 4 to 8, but there technically is no limit. So if the voting is done and you get more than 8, I guess there's more than 8 that will be inducted in the Hall of Fame. So it's between 4 and 8 guys will get into the NFL Hall of Fame yearly, is basically what it says.
And that includes, so this is just this ballot is just the modern,
no more than 8.
And this is just the modern era players. Does that must count the old time players, coaches, maybe too?
There's a senior Hall of Fame, and then there's the regular Hall of Fame. So these are guys being selected into this one, but there is a senior Hall of Fame that goes along with it. But you have to have at least 4, but no more than 8 guys can be elected into the NFL Hall of Fame each year.
There you go.
So there we go. Now we know.
I mean, and I could see 8 guys out of this group getting selected to the Hall of Fame. So
at least, and I think it's going to be, if one guy doesn't get selected, he'll be in there next year. I think it'll be a snub that one guy doesn't get in, and he will jump in there next year. Definitely,
because you get like a certain amount of years to be on the ballot. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
You can only be on there a certain amount of times before you get kicked off or something. I don't know if it's like baseball or anything, but
I believe so. I definitely believe you are correct in that statement. But with that, I want to jump. We're going to stick NFL. We're going to look over at the NFL playoff picture. We got a lot going on in the NFL right now. And I just want to look at the playoff picture right now heading into, today, Thursday night matchup here. So as of right now, we have some teams basically locked up for the playoffs, some teams still hoping. So as of right now, the Baltimore Ravens, and we look at the AFC, the Baltimore Ravens made the playoffs. They're 100%, they're going to make the playoffs. They have a 97% chance to clinch the division, 74% chance to clinch a bye, and they're giving them a 44% chance to make Super Bowl right now by ESPN. The Miami Dolphins also 100% chance to make the playoffs. Right now they have a 75% chance to clinch the division, 24% chance to clinch a bye, and they're giving them a 25% chance to make that Super Bowl. The Cleveland Browns They're a 99% chance to make the playoffs. So the Cleveland Browns are in the playoffs with Joe Flacco leading them in there. They're sitting at a 3% chance right now to win the division. They're behind the Ravens right now. They have a 1% chance for the bye. So basically, from here on out, nobody's got a chance for a bye right now. So the Browns are the last one with any percent chance to get a bye. And they're giving them a 2% chance right now to make the Super Bowl. Kansas City comes in there and a 98% chance to make the playoffs, 97% chance to clinch that division. The Bills coming in, 91% chance to make the playoffs. Not a very good percentage to clinch a bye. We have the Jaguars with an 80% chance to make the playoffs, 68% chance to clinch the division. The Colts have 47% chance to make the playoffs, and the Texans coming in at a 36% chance to make the division. The bottom echelon of that is all the AFC South. And that is because I believe, you might have to look up the standings for me, but I believe the AFC South, all three teams are tied for that one spot. I believe everybody lost last week that could potentially have taken over that one seed. I believe they're all 8-7.
Everyone's 8-7 except for the Titans. The Titans are 5-10.
So as of right now, it's anybody's game there in the South. We don't know. I believe C.J. Stroud will be back for the Texans here coming up this next week. So you're going to have C.J. Stroud coming back for the Texans. The Colts, they have what they have. And the Jaguars, we don't know. Because the Jaguars have played some pretty bad football over the last couple weeks here. Trevor Lawrence isn't playing great. The offense hasn't looked good. The defense hasn't looked good. The Jaguars are in shambles. It's anybody's game there in the AFC South. So right now, that is the big storyline in the AFC. Everybody else, I mean, the Ravens, Dolphins, Browns are kind of surprising. You know, their defense is good, but I didn't expect with the quarterback play that they've had for them to be firing on all cylinders, and they've looked pretty darn good there with Joe Flacco running it. He's turnover happy. He has, I mean, looking at the games he's played, he's throwing at least an interception a game, sometimes 3. But you look at those stats, and then you look at, he throws for 379 yards and also throws 3 interceptions, but has 2 touchdowns to go with it. So it's like, you get the good, bad, and ugly with Joe Flacco right now, but he's leading this Browns team into the playoffs. So that's impressive work out of Joe Flacco right now. Kansas City, I don't know. That's a mess. Kansas City's a mess, but you can't look past them. That's the thing. Even when Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid are all out of sorts, and we have Andy Reid pushing Travis Kelce on the sideline telling him to knock it off, you don't believe they're out of it because they haven't been out of it in so long. Patrick Mahomes is a very good quarterback. It just takes some time to figure it out. Maybe they'll figure it out over the next couple weeks. But, I mean, right now the AFC, besides the bottom half with the AFC South, kind of wide open as of right now. I mean, we have the AFC South. All of them could get the 4 seed yet, and all of them could end up being in the 7 seed, 6, 7 seed as of right now. So it just depends on where you're looking is where they're going to end up. Looking at the NFC right now, this is where it kind of gets a little more wide open. We have the 49ers, they're almost guaranteed. They're probably going to end up in the NFC Championship game. The Lions, they're guaranteed a playoff spot right now. The Eagles, you don't know. You don't know with the Eagles right now. The Cowboys, the Eagles are 100% in. The Cowboys are 100% in the playoffs. But who's going to end up with that division? I believe the Eagles, but I don't know.
You can flip them.
You could definitely flip those 2 around. And the Buccaneers will probably end up with that 4 seed right now. Whoever doesn't end up in there will end up as the 5 seed between the Eagles and Cowboys. The other one will jump into that playoff picture. And then it gets kind of dicey. You have the Rams, you have the Seahawks, you have the Packers, you have the Vikings, and you have the Saints. Now, the scenarios that I was looking at with the Packers, and this will kind of lead into our Packer talk for today, but I saw they listed the scenarios that the Packers needed. See if I can get on.
I heard that if we win out these next 2 games, we have a 90-something percent, not like 96% chance to win. Or not win.
Yep.
To make the playoffs.
Yep. So as of right now, if these are the wild outcomes. So 2 losses for the Packers, they end up in the top 10 in the NFL draft. If they have 1 loss, they're picking in the early teens in the draft. If they win out with the Rams loss, the Packers are the 7th seed. If they win out with a Seahawks loss, the Packers are the 6th seed. And if they win out plus LA and the Seahawks win out, now Green Bay actually misses the playoffs. So they need the Seahawks or Rams to lose one game. Whether it's, I don't think they play each other, which sucks because that would have helped out the Packers a lot. But you're
the Rams
hoping
play the
for
49ers, so there could be
the
your
Rams.
one.
The only thing that worries me is that's week 17 or week 18. The only thing that worries me with that game is that the 49ers will have locked up the playoffs. If they don't lock up the 1 seed, then you play everybody. But if you don't lock up that, if you lock up that 1 seed before going into that matchup, I don't expect to see Christian McCaffrey the entire game. If Brock Purdy's still banged up, I don't expect to see Brock Purdy. The defense, I don't expect to see like Nick Bosa out there or Fred Warner. I expect some of those guys to get kind of minute restrictions in that ball game. So that's kind of my worry leading up into that matchup.
Well, and here's the thing. With the 49ers losing last weekend to the Ravens, they have to win these next 2 games to clinch the 1 seed for sure. So
Perfect.
I think that might help out in our favor for them having to be full out there playing against the Rams. And then when you look at the Seattle Seahawks, I mean, they play the Pittsburgh Steelers, so that's no gimme. The Steelers are pretty good. They've been playing decent football, even though they might not be in the play. I mean, they're in the playoff picture too, so the Steelers are going to be out there trying to fight for their lives, just as the Seahawks are going to be. And then they play the Cardinals. So I'm probably going to give Seattle the win against the Cardinals. But our one chance right here is either the Rams over or the 49ers over the Rams or Seattle or the Steelers over Seattle. And if they both end up losing those games and the Packers win out, then you said we could be the 6th seed?
If the Rams lose, the Packers will be the 7th seed. If the Seahawks lose, if the Packers got to win out, no matter what, the Packers have to win out. But if the Seahawks lose, the Packers jump up to the 6th seed with the Packers winning out. So they would jump the Rams because of the tiebreaker. They have that win over the Rams early on this year that would boost them over the top of the Rams there in the playoff race.
I'm looking at Fox Sports, what they got. They also have Atlanta Falcons over us. So I don't know, depending on if the Falcons win or not, if that would hurt us. They play the Bears and the Saints. The Falcons do, because the Falcons are 8-7, or the Falcons are 7-8, just like us. So I don't know.
The Falcons could sneak in the back door of this thing too, with everything that it could turn into a mess. This could be a mess come the end of this season. The Packers, they got to win out. And your impact game of the week is definitely going to be the Green Bay and Minnesota game. I mean, we're going to talk about it more tomorrow, but as of right now, looking at their current chances to make the playoffs, they're giving the Vikings a 20, the Packers a 28. If they win that game, the Packers, they have a 52% chance to make the playoffs. With a loss, the Packers are out. They're done. With a win by the Vikings, 39% chance to make the playoffs. So the Packers basically, they will be the only other NFC North team to jump into the playoffs with a win. So the Packers definitely need to take care of their own business and pray for a little bit of help on the outside. That's definitely going to be a big thing leading up to this one. I mean, talking about the Packers there, they screwed themselves. You know, if you look at the Packers' schedule throughout this season, and see if I can get her to pull up here, you have losses on there to like the Falcons loss. Now that we're talking about that there, that loss to the Falcons, that killed the Packers. You look at that loss to the Raiders, 17-13. You look at the loss to the Broncos. You lost that at the end. You look at that loss to Minnesota early on in the year there. To Pittsburgh, that was close. And then your loss to the Giants and Tampa Bay. The Packers put themselves in this situation right now. I mean, you look at that schedule. You won the hard part of your schedule. You beat the Lions. You beat the Kansas City Chiefs. You won the tough part of this entire year with those 2 games. You screwed yourself looking down the line here. I mean, you put a win there for the Falcons, so you have one more win with the Falcons. You should have beat the Raiders, so I'll give you 2 wins right there. The Broncos should have won that game. The Steelers should have won that game. And the Giants and Buccaneers. So that's 6 more wins added on to the Packers total right there. With just those games, you'd be in the playoffs, no doubt, with a chance still to win the division. That's the big thing when I look at Green Bay and I say to myself, why are they in this position? It's not because they lost to great teams throughout the year. They lost games that they should have won, where they put so much on Jordan Love's plate to be that guy early on in his career, and he wasn't able to do it for you. We expected the defense was going to have to carry this team. We talked about it early on this year. We said the defense was going to have to pick up the slack until the offense could figure it out. The offense figured it out now. I mean, you look at that Giants game, the Packers offense put up 22 points. You look at the Tampa Bay game, they put up 20 points, but you can't allow 24 and 34 points in those ball games there and expect to win them. Look at Carolina. The offense, a pretty good Carolina defense. The offense put up 33 points. I mean, barring that with some special teams help there, but the offense still was able to sustain drives in that game. The defense gave up 30 points. That's the problem with Green Bay. Look at Atlanta. 25 points that defense gave up. 24 the Packers scored. The offense is right there. You're just expecting Jordan Love to be able, and you know, it's the hope. It's the hope that Jordan Love can do the things that, say, Aaron Rodgers did or Patrick Mahomes can do. But he can't yet. Early on in this year, the offense was in shambles. We didn't know what we had with Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs or Jaden Reed or Dontavian Wicks. We didn't know what we had yet. The offense has been banged up all year. We haven't had David Bakhtiari out there all year long. And yet, we put so much on his plate. I did. I talked crap about Jordan Love for weeks. I know I did. But at the end of the day, that's because the games that we were losing, we had a shot, but we put it all on Jordan Love's plate. And that's where I think the biggest problem for Green Bay has been, is we're losing little games. The Broncos, the Raiders, just, excuse me, just sneezed. Son of a gun. Wowza. That was rough. That was rough. Thank you. But, you know, it just, I get allergic to looking at this schedule of Green Bay and saying to myself, why are we in this situation right now? You lost games that you definitely should have won. That's the thing. If the Packers went through this schedule and they played the likes of the 49ers in there, and they played, say, the Cowboys and the Eagles, and they had a gauntlet of a schedule, I could see this team sitting at the record they are. They didn't play a gauntlet of a schedule. They played 2 tough games. Okay, I shouldn't say that. They played 3 tough games in this entire schedule where I could say the Packers shouldn't have won it. The Lions at home, the Lions on the road, and Kansas City at home. Those are the 3 games where I could say, truthfully, I did not expect Green Bay to win. The rest of them, the Bears, the Falcons, the Saints, the Raiders, you had the Denver Broncos, the Vikings, the Rams without Matthew Stafford, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Chargers, the Giants, Tampa Bay, and Carolina. You should be right now, truth be told, you should have at the most maybe 4 losses, maybe 5 losses on your record. But you went south. And that was a lot of coaching problems, and we're going to get into that a little bit more. But that's a lot of other problems in Green Bay. It's just a situation we put ourselves into.
Yeah, it's just what we did to ourselves. And you can credit that to a lot to our defense, too. I mean, I feel like sometimes Jordan Love actually put us in situations to win these games. And then it was our defense that hurt us. And I won't give all the credit to the defense. I'm like, yeah, I mean, when you look at the Packers versus Broncos for one, Packers versus Steelers. I mean, Steelers, they have a tough defense, but 19 points. And you look at those games too when we had potential to win or potential to score touchdowns in those games, and we didn't execute. It comes down to situations and games and coaching. And it seems like this year our coaching just hasn't been up to par with past years, putting players in the correct positions to succeed. It seems like we were outcoached sometimes. And that's what you don't want to see. You just don't want to see that, especially in the NFL, especially with the Green Bay Packers as an organization. Like, we're just so – I feel like our prestige is just so high to getting outcoached, especially to a team like the New York Giants. The New York Giants, how are you getting baffled by their offense? With Tommy DeVito, who's not even started anymore, by the way. He got benched, and now Tyrod Taylor's in there playing over him. So we let a guy who's not even starting the NFL anymore torch us and look like the next coming of Michael Vick. So it's just not good. And like you said, 6 of those games could be wins. I mean, if we win some of them games, we're looking at you subtract 6, from the loss column, add them to the win column, we're 13-2. We got the 1 seed. Now, granted, I'm gonna say probably some of those still don't go our way. Some of them games still don't go our way. Like the Buccaneers games. I mean, the Buccaneers were looking like they were looking crazy against us. So I don't know if we're still winning that game. Granted, we could put at least 4. I'd say at least 4 wins though. We could have got at least 4 wins out of that. And even then, we're looking at 11-4. We're fighting with Detroit to get in the top. I mean, if we win out, we probably get over Detroit, I'd say. I don't know, with some tiebreaker or something. And we have a home game. So, like I said, it's just the situations that we put ourselves in. And now we're out on the outside trying to claw back in, make a miracle run here, and somehow beat the Minnesota Vikings this weekend.
And like you were saying there, Jordan Love put us in positions, but the Packers defense put Jordan Love in some bad positions too. I mean, you look at some of these games, the Packers had the lead, and all of a sudden you look at like the Pittsburgh Steelers. They go down the length of the field. They score. You look at the Carolina Panthers. This offense had the big lead for most of that game. Jordan Love had to take the Packers down the field to kick a field goal to take the lead late in that one. So it's just the little things for Green Bay right now that have kind of killed them along the stretch here. But we're going to jump into the MLB rule changes in a second here. I just want to talk about our sponsor, Game Day Supply in Onalaska. They got everything there: skate sharpening, hockey accessories, custom fielding gloves for baseball and softball. They carry a wide variety of baseball and softball bats, from DeMarini to Louisville Slugger and Marucci. They have it all at Game Day Supply in Onalaska. Check them out at the store in Onalaska or online at GameDaySupply.net, or check them out at Facebook at Game Day Supply in Onalaska. But with that, let's move on. I want to talk about the MLB. We're going to get out of the NFL for a second, and then we're going to jump back in. So with that, I want to talk about the MLB rule changes. So this happened about a week ago, but we haven't been able to talk about it. We've been busy. We're going to get into it now. So there's been pitching changes. If a new pitcher steps onto the warning track with less than 2 minutes remaining on the inning break clock, the clock will reset to 2 minutes rather than 2:15. So they're trying to limit time in there. Mound visits, they have actually been limited from 5 to 4 mound visits in a game right now. And it looks like the club average so far last year was only 2.3, but still limiting the amount of mound visits, definitely interesting. Let's look down the line here. Batter face requirement: a pitcher sent to warm up for an inning must face at least one batter, in addition to any requirements under the 3-batter minimum rule. So that was last year. They put that in there. The MLB, you had to face a certain amount of guys before you get pulled. You got put in, you have to face 3 guys. So now they're making it even more limited to what you can do now. Also, I saw the pitch clock was changed. It was dropped from, I believe, 20 to 15 now. They have actually upped that a little bit moving into this next year. So I'm looking at these rule changes in the MLB, and it baffles me. It baffles me because why are we making... So last year, we made all these rule changes. It's actually the pitch timer with men on base is going from 20 to 18 seconds. So that's a difference. They're also widening the runner's lane to first. So from home to first, they're going to widen that out. It just doesn't make sense to me why. So after last year, Max Scherzer came out, and he was talking about how pitchers were getting injured more because of they were speeding up the game. Pitchers didn't have as much time in between pitches. It was like a machine gun. They had to keep firing their arm. It was boom, 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 boom. So instead of combating that by just, okay, we're going to leave it how it is. And games went faster last year. I mean, you could tell. Games that started at 7 o'clock at night were done at about 9 o'clock at night. I mean, if you were lucky, you got a 2.5-hour baseball game, but usually they were around 2. I mean, it didn't seem like they took forever. And now you combat it by making them even shorter. I don't get it. Why did they mess with something that was fine before? If somebody did, this was always my opinion. You can speed up the game. You can. There was some aspects of the game that were slow. I mean, I remember watching Ryan Braun step out of batter's box, fix his gloves for half an hour, put pine tar on his bat, do everything, and step back in. It seemed like it took about a minute. I get if you try to combat that. Why do we need to continuously keep trying to force rules into this game? Why do we need to keep limiting this down to what players, how fast they need to move, how fast they need to be in there? I always looked at it as if it's game 7 of the World Series and I have a guy up to bat and bases are loaded, there's 2 outs, it's a 3-2 count on my guy. I want him to have as much time as he needs to get himself back, relax, step back into the batter's box, get himself ready to face that pitcher one more time with the World Series on the line. Now we're forcing it to where this guy's got to be back in the box, boom, boom. He doesn't have time. He's got to get back into the box. I just think it takes an aspect out of the game. It takes the moment away, right? Because a lot of the biggest moments have the build-up to them, right? The batter steps out of the batter's box. You hear, say, Joe Buck. Joe Buck always announces the World Series. You hear Joe Buck say, this is it. This is the end of the game, blah, blah, blah. He goes through his whole scenario. And then the batter steps back in. And then you have a second where the pitcher pauses. And he looks all directions. And he looks at the runner on first. He looks at the runner on third. You got that moment, the build-up. There's no build-up anymore. There's no excitement because you speed it up. So now there's going to be no build-up for it. The batter's in and out of the box. And now the pitcher's got to go boom, boom. Here's the pitch. I mean, I get the aspect of you want to speed up the game because you don't want – people will sit down and watch a 2-hour baseball game before they watch a 3. I mean, I never had a problem with it. I would watch a 3-hour baseball game and be fine. It's just to the aspect of, are you speeding it up too much? And to me, I believe they're speeding it up too much to the point where now it's like, what am I watching? I mean, I'm watching a game where it's like the guys don't have – there's no moment. There's no buildup. There's the suspense in that moment. You know, the Rajay Davis hits that home run against Aroldis Chapman in that World Series against the Cubs. It was the buildup to that moment, the seconds that you had where nobody was in the batter's box and you just heard Joe Buck talking. That was the buildup for that moment. It takes it away as a sports fan, I think. I really do. You know, you don't have those big moments, the out-of-play moments that I love so much about sports. So that's my opinion on it right now. I think last year what they did to the game, I was going to be able to get over it and accept it for what it was. Now it just feels like they keep shortening the game even more and more to the point where it's going to be nothing pretty soon here. And I think that's kind of my problem right now with the MLB. What are you seeing right now on you? What are you thinking on your end towards some of these rule changes and how they're speeding it up even more now?
I feel like they're trying to do a little bit too much. And rules are getting confusing. You were reading some of them and I was like, yeah, I have no idea what some of this stuff means. Not going to lie. I mean, I finally just understood what the old rules were I was like, all right, they make the bases a little bit bigger. They got somewhat of a pitch clock. I don't know what that means, but you got to pitch a ball before the clock runs out. Cool. Kind of like a shot clock or a play clock. And now you read some of these off and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. It gets a little confusing, and I'm sure it's going to be confusing in spring ball when the coaches have to deal with that or the managers have to deal with it, and I think it's gonna create more problems for the umps too, the umpires. I mean, we saw some of that stuff with these rule changes last year. Now you add more. I feel like it's gonna add even more problems for the umpires. I feel like these rule changes also are meant to help out the viewers that aren't at the game. When you're watching on TV, I feel like when you're at the game, you want to get your money's worth. You want it to be a 3-hour game because you want to be there as long as possible. I mean, you pay. I mean, let's just say a ticket's worth $100. You wanna get your money's worth for that ticket. I'd rather, if I'm gonna go to a Brewer game, I'd rather be a 3-hour game so I can be there as long as possible. I mean, but for some people, it's their one game that they get to go to a year. And to go to that, you want to be there as long as possible because you're not going to be there for another year. Now you add these pitch clocks and all these rules. Now you limit that down to 2 hours. So now you're only there for 2 hours. You're there for a smaller amount of time. Now, when I was watching games on TV, I'll admit I don't want to sit sit on my couch for 3 hours and watch a baseball game. I'd like flip in between and do whatever. I'm like, oh, the Brewers are still on. Maybe I'll turn it on. I think that's where these rules come in. That's why they bring these rules in. It's for the players, or it's for the people that are watching the games on TV that uh want to speed it up. And like you said, it takes away moments. Even on TV, it takes away moments with Joe Buck or any announcer that's announcing the game, especially in playoffs and all that stuff. I mean, there's just so many legendary plays that's happened with the normal rules and all that, and it creates suspense. It creates suspense, and you feel that as a fan. I feel like like you said, you're taking away that suspense with these pitch clocks, with all these rules. And the game that we once know and loved is kind of dwindling away to speed. Everything's about speed. Everything's about getting the game over with as soon as possible. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's just odd. It's weird. And it's confusing. It's confusing. I guess, I don't really know anything about these rules. I probably never will be, because baseball is just a weird game, man. It's just a weird game.
And they change the rules every year, so it's hard to keep up with it.
I'm sure there's gonna be more. There's probably gonna be more rules next year. I guarantee you, because like we said, this year we got over it. We got over the hump. We're like, all right, these new rules aren't too bad after all. I mean, it did speed the game up just a little bit, and we saw a lot more offensive productivity with the bases and a lot more stealing and whatnot. And now they're starting to press buttons. Now they're starting to push buttons to see if they could just push it a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. And I mean, who knows, if this year goes well, I guarantee you there's going to be more rule changes next year, trying to push it even a little bit more further. And I don't think, I mean, for instance, we saw rules in the NFL that, for instance, the challenge flag for pass interference, we saw it happen one year, wasn't good, and they took it out right away because they knew how bad it was. I don't know if this is going to be the case for the rules in the MLB. I feel like they're going to just try and make it work. They're going to try and make it work, and they're not really going to take anything back if it doesn't work.
That's the big thing, is I think that it worked, and that's why they're going to keep pushing it until the point where people get fed up and they say this isn't working. And that's what I think the big thing was with this, is that it worked, and now they want to see if they can make it work even better. I just think that they're pushing it too far, and I think they're going to push a lot of buttons, especially with players here moving forward. But with that, I want to jump over. We got to get into the Packers, because there was some interesting news coming out of Green Bay yesterday, and that was Jaire Alexander was suspended for one game after that coin toss mix-up. Now, Brian Gutekunst came out and talked about it. And from what I saw, he said the decision to suspend a player is never easy and not one we take lightly. Unfortunately, Jaire's actions prior to the game in Carolina led us to take this step. As an organization, we have an expectation that everyone puts the team first. While we are disappointed, we had a good conversation with Jaire this morning and fully expect him to learn from this and move forward together. We look forward to welcoming him back next week, as he is a valued member of the team and will continue to be for the future. Now, Matt LaFleur came out and said, certainly it was a tough decision, especially kind of where we're at right now. One we don't take lightly, but there's standards and we're all held accountable for. And when we have not met, unfortunately, sometimes you have to take drastic measures. However, I will say that we are expecting we will get him back, and we're looking forward to get him back. We had a long conversation this morning. I thought it was very productive. And I think in the long run, although it's painful now, I think we're all going to be better for this moving forward. Both of them can take their statements, twist them sideways, and shove them up their candy behinds. That's definitely what I got out of there. You're telling me that guys need to be held accountable for their actions, for the crap that they do on the field. Okay, so why did Jaire play in the Carolina game? Why did he get suspended for the Vikings game? A game that had nothing to do with Carolina. This happened at the beginning of the game. Why would you not have said, Jaire, you're sitting out for the Carolina game because you did this on this day? Why is it the Vikings game now? Why are we pushing it a week later? This is stupid. This is absolutely stupid. I get why. I understand why it all happened. I get it. But at the same time, why would you wait a week? Why would you wait until after the fact to really prove your point? This is we're the boss, we get to make our decision kind of moment, because you look at the players after that. Look at his Instagram tweet. Jaire Alexander posted on Instagram, Carrington Valentine, Kenny Clark, Elton Jenkins, Ty Summers, Preston Smith, Jonathan Owens, Keyshawn Nixon, Yash Nyman. You had Devontae Wyatt on there, all posting in support to Jaire Alexander. All of them. You think they care? You think they care what Jaire did? No, they don't. Nobody cares. This is a portion of you have lost it all. You have lost the locker room, and you want to show them one more time who has the cojones in the room. That's what I got out of this situation. You should have suspended him for Carolina. That's what should have happened. You waited a week. Now it's dumb. Now it's a mess. Now this makes no sense. To the aspect of, why suspend him for a game that he had nothing wrong happen in? That's what I'm getting out of this. If it was an off-the-field incident, I get it. If it happened during the week, I get it. This was on Sunday. This was at the beginning of the game, and yet you wait. You wait to suspend him until after the situation's done and over with. That's my problem. That's my problem with Green Bay. This is just stupid. This is a mess. This is terrible coaching. This is terrible ownership. He should have been, if he was going to get suspended or kicked out of a game, Carolina was the day. That was the day it should have happened, not against the Vikings. That's my opinion on it. It's just outright just the stupidest thing I have heard.
I think it's kind of funny how he just like inserted himself in the captain role. Like they don't pick captains before the season. They just do it week by week. And he's like, I'm from Charlotte, so I'm going to go out there. He said, it's only suiting. I don't think Coach knew I was from Charlotte. So not only did he go out there, he also called the coin toss, too. He was the one who said heads or tails, and then if he wanted to get the ball or not. And apparently he said, I want to go on defense, which there's some terminology that goes into it. If you want to like defend or defer or whatnot. I don't really know how it all goes, but I just think it's kind of funny how he just went out there. He said he had support from his teammates. After reading the tweets, it sounds like he had a little bit of support from his teammates there. But also, when you look at this team is young. I mean, we had players, Clay Walker, second year, out there. Who else was out there? Eric Wilson. I don't know. He's
I believe Aaron Jones was out there too.
Yep, and Aaron Jones. So I mean, he kind of just goes out there, walks out there. He's like, yeah, tails, wins it. He won it, by the way. He won the toss, and then he's like, we're gonna go on defense. We're gonna go on defense, show him what it's about. And I mean, we stopped him right away. But like you said, how are you suspending him on a Wednesday? Because I'm pretty sure this was yesterday that they came up.
Yep.
Because I was watching Pat McAfee's show on YouTube, and it was breaking news on there. So and they were talking about it. I mean, the Pat McAfee show is hilarious. I love that show. So they were talking about it, and they were joking around about it because they were like, "This is actually crazy. I don't think they've ever seen anything like this where." Someone who's not a captain or not elected to be a captain for the week kind of just walks out there with the captains and then proceeds to call the coin toss and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's you think Matt LaFleur would have caught him walking out there and being like, wait a minute, I don't remember assigning him as a captain. And then you think they would have done something for that game, not wait till Wednesday. And then for one of the biggest games of the year, decide to suspend him, especially with Justin Jefferson's back. They got Jordan Addison. They got Osborne on their team. I think Hawkinson got hurt, but still.
Luckily, T.J. Hawkinson will not be playing,
Luckily, but that means the ball is going to go to the wide receivers even more. And we don't have Jaire.
It's okay. Joel Berry will put Preston Smith on Justin Jefferson.
You're right.
And we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Preston Smith is an all-pro cover man on some of the best wide receivers in the game.
I forgot about Preston Smith being a cover man there. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, he's excellent cover man. When JJ torches us for 300 yards with a third string quarterback, they don't even know who they're starting at quarterback right now. Either it's O'Connell or O'Connell, one of the two. Whether it's Dobbs or it's, I can't even remember the two other
The other
guys.
guy.
The other guy with Mullers. I believe it's Mullers.
Yep.
If it's Mullers or Dobbs, whoever it is, doesn't matter. They're just going to toss it up to JJ, who's going to be covered by the likes of Preston Smith, or it wouldn't even surprise me if Rashawn Gary dropped back in coverage one of these times. One of those guys will be on Justin Jefferson in this ball game, and it'll be lockdown corner. Only 300 yards given up, so not bad. Not a bad day at the office for a defensive lineman playing coverage on a wide receiver.
And not only that, so now we don't have Jaire Alexander, who was a first-round pick. We have Carrington Valentine and then Ballantyne, both 7th-round picks, and both rookies out there trying to defend.
We don't know about Eric Stokes. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know about Eric Stokes. I thought he played all right last week. He was all right.
Yeah, he'll be all right, but we don't know if he can cover Justin Jefferson. We haven't seen enough out of Eric Stokes to tell me.
I mean, he's only played like 3 games, so
yep,
not very good there. I don't know what the Packers are doing here, man. I just don't know what they're doing.
Here's this tweet. This tweet that I saw tells me exactly what's going on with Packers. So this guy tweeted, and he goes, the Packers had the stones to tell Brett Favre to take a hike. They had the stones to tell Aaron Rodgers it was over. They had the massive balls to draft Rodgers and Jordan Love. But when it comes to a defensive coordinator who is absolutely terrible, they're silent. When it comes to a cornerback who went out on the field for a coin toss, wasn't supposed to be out there but was, they have the stones to sit there and not do a darn thing until after the game, and then we suspend them. It's just disorganization is the biggest problem with Green Bay all the way around, and it's been like that for years. Is that when they want something, they go and do it. When they wanted Favre out, they said, Favre, get out of here. When they wanted Rodgers gone, they said, here, Jets, take him in this trade. When they wanted to draft Jordan Love to basically piss off Aaron Rodgers, they drafted Jordan Love to do it. When they wanted to fire Mike McCarthy, they fired him. They didn't wait. They fired him. That's the problem with Green Bay, is when we need something done, they don't do it. But when they want to do something in their own right mind that they think is going to be okay, they jump on it. They jump on that horse and ride it. That's the problem with Green Bay right now. They don't have the stones to fire the problem, but they'll do the little things in between.
Yeah, we're losing a lot of trust here. A lot of trust, a lot of loyalty. I don't know what to tell you, Trage. Not much happened on my end. My head's kind of like, I'm losing all hope. And yet we still have a chance to make the playoffs. That's what's the crazy part. We still somehow have a chance to make the playoffs. Granted, we're probably gonna get our butts whipped first round of the playoffs if we somehow make it, because we'll play either Dallas or the Eagles, but we still have a chance with all this going on with Joe Barry. With Joe Barry stuck in.
Everybody else
sucks. Honestly, in my eyes, Joe Barry's been the best coach that we've had come in since Vince Lombardi. So, joke's on you, Trage.
And with that, Austin's final episode of Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage.
He
leaves you guys on that note. Don't say that ever again. We'll get yelled at. Somebody will bash us until the end of time. But with that, he's putting everybody in their place right now. He's letting them know that Joel Barry is his favorite coach. But with that, we got to jump over into the NFL. We're going to stick with the NFL. We got to jump into our NFL Fantasy Football of the Week. So, leading up into this week, we have a lot of action happening. A lot of games coming up, and we got to pick our teams. So right now we have our quarterback. We have to pick a quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers, a flex position, a tight end, and a defense that we think is going to be successful this week. So last week I picked first. So Austin, you get the first pick of the week.
I feel like I still got to go. Hold on. I got to look here. I got to do my looking per usual. Yeah, I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey. Still going to go with him.
He's taking CMC right off the bat.
I feel like I always take him.
You always do. I let you have him every week.
He's my one and only bright spot.
That's fair. That's fair. I am going to take. This is a tough one. Definitely a tough one. Give me. I believe Josh Allen plays a terrible matchup.
He does. He plays New England.
Give me Josh Allen against the New England defense. I'm going to take a quarterback. I know you tell me not to, but you're terrible at fantasy, so I'm going to take Josh Allen.
Would it be crazy for me to pick Justin Jefferson against the Green Bay Packers? Would it be crazy? I mean,
would it be crazy? No, not at all. Actually, far from crazy.
I don't know who their quarterback is. That's my one problem. That's my one problem with that.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I think you just throw in whoever and it'll work out.
Honestly, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. He did drop 26 against the Lions. But I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb. They're playing against Detroit. I like CeeDee Lamb for my first wide receiver pick.
CeeDee Lamb. I am going to take. Oh, who do I want? I think I'm going to stick in the running back room with my next one. Giants defense is iffy. They're iffy. Give me Kyren Williams going up against the Giants defense for my running back position.
Who's that guy?
Kyren Williams, running back for the Rams. Who did you take just before that? Oh, CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. I think I might go with another wide receiver here. Let me look here. See, I'd go Tyreek or Jalen Waddle. They are playing Baltimore though, and Baltimore has a really good defense, as we saw against the 49ers. So I don't know if I'm gonna take those two guys. AJ Brown, he is playing against the Arizona Cardinals. He's had a little bit of he's had some down games here. I think I might go Justin Jefferson. I might just go Justin Jefferson. That might be a safe pick, especially against the Packers. So I'm gonna go Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson going up against Green Bay. What a pick there by Austin. I'm gonna take. Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown going up against Dallas's defense.
That's solid. That's not bad.
He holds me down. He gives me points.
All right, my flex position, give me Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua. I am going to go with A.J. Brown going up against Arizona's. I'm going to take A.J. Brown going up against Arizona as my other wide receiver.
Not bad. I don't know. You kind of took the one good quarterback off the draft board. I'm not going to lie. Some of these other guys are not too hot. Would it be foolish of me to pick Joe Flacco? I don't know. I mean, they are playing the Jets. The Jets have a very good defense. But, I mean, Joe Flacco just torched. I forgot who they played, but he torched. Who was it? Who'd they play? The Houston Texans. Okay, well.
Texans. That doesn't count, though.
That doesn't count. I don't want to go Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes actually has not been playing good. They are playing Cincinnati though, And I feel like I keep trying to tell myself that they're gonna be good again. I might just go Dak Prescott, honestly. I might go Dak. Dak's not very good either. Drink third. Go give me Dak Prescott. I'll go Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. Interesting pick there in that quarterback spot. Tight end. Oof, that's tough. Tight end's going to be tough because of Travis Kelce's been playing like garbage. Let's see. Who do I want at my tight end? I think I'm going to go give me I'm stuck between David Njoku and Sammy Laporta. Give me Laporta going up against Dallas.
Do we have one running back or two running backs?
One running back. You have a tight end left and your defense.
All right. So tight end. I will go George Kittle, but he's not much of a wide receiver type of tight end, you know? He's more of that blocking type of tight end.
He's got moments.
Give me Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram.
The Jaguars.
Evan Ingram. Give me for my defense, I am going to take the Browns defense going up against the Jets.
That's solid.
How did we get out of turn? I thought you went first. Oh, I didn't take my other flex position yet. That's why.
Oh, you put a defense before your flex. I admit it doesn't really matter.
You just got your defense left.
Yeah. Oh, let me see here. Let me just go to leaders, defense. It doesn't tell me who these teams play, though. I don't really know. Defense is tough for me. Because some of them, I feel like there's some good ones that I could pick. But Miami's usually a good defense, but they're playing against Baltimore, so you know that's not going to be good.
Gotta have faith.
Gotta have faith. Oh, man. San Fran over Washington?
Yeah.
Might have to go that one. I'm going to go San Fran. San Fran over Washington.
So we got San Fran over Washington. In my last flex position, I will take Stephon Diggs in my flex position. If Josh Allen's going to have a big game, so will Stephon Diggs. So I'm going to take Diggs in my last flex position there. So there's our fantasy picks of the week. We're going to be back tomorrow. We got our weekend preview, our Packer preview. Badger football is back in action. Badger basketball is going to be getting back in action next week. There's a lot to be talked about tomorrow here on the show. But thank you guys for listening. Until we catch you guys back here tomorrow, it's been awesome talking with you guys. This has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trade. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you here tomorrow. But until then, deuces.